Okay, I think I got the largest boxing glove collection of anybody in the world. You know, I don't know anybody that's even close to what I have. I'm going to start with these. These boxing gloves were at the Boxing Hall of Fame in New York years and years ago, and they had 34 world champions sign these gloves. All the champions were at their Hall of Fame thing they have once a year. They took these gloves around and had each champion sign them. And then after that, they done that for a reason to auction them off. And I got them from the guy somewhere down the line that got them at the auction. But they're just about everybody you can think of, boxers that are on, or their autograph is on them gloves. And over here, that's just some of the boxing trophies from when my boys used to fight. You know, I got stuff like that all over the place. Okay, these are just some of my scrapbooks. I got tons of them. I got ring magazines and strength and health magazines back to the 30s. I got great big scrapbooks that you can't hardly pick up, and they're all filled with everything. I got Sol Levinson boxing gloves all over the place. These are one of the hardest ones to find, and they were from the early part of the 19th century. Jim Jeffries fought with them. Jack Dempsey, Jess Willard, all the early time fighters demanded that Sol Levinson gloves were used. I got old boxing timers and old bells from way back. That one still got the wood attached to it from where they had it hanging, and the bell was still got the timer. These are bag gloves for hitting a speed bag, a heavy bag, whatever, but they're like brand new. I don't think anybody's ever had their hand at them. They're still super clean. And these are probably from 1910, 1912. They're still like brand new. And up on my boxing gloves, I got boxing gloves from the real early, somewhere in the 1800s that were, they started filling them with straw. And then later on boxing gloves, they went to horsehair. And of course now we use foam. But these early gloves, I got practically every type of boxing glove that ever was. I got boxing gloves that were made by Winchester. I got Everlast. I got Sol Levinson. I got McGregor. I got every manufacturer that ever made a boxing glove. I got hundreds of pairs of them. I got them in the house. I got them up here in my workout room. I got Ray Flores. That was really rare, but it's really hard to find. And over in that corner, that's all what you'd call new old stock. It's all brand new boxing equipment, but really old. I got 7 pair of boxing trunks that probably from the 60s. I got the old skip ropes. I got Bentley. I got Everlast. I got all kinds of them that's still in the box, brand new, that nobody ever used. I got a pair of boxing trunks that Ernie Shaver signed for me. That was his one time. I got the old boxing shoes that's got rubber on the bottom, but the early boxing shoes had leather soles, and that's why they had to stand in a rosin box to make their feet tacky where they wouldn't slip in the ring. I got the old style boxing robes, like you never see ones like that anymore. And I got the Bentley boxing gloves. Bentley would be the type that they used in the early 50s, like Carmen Basilio and Gene Fulber, Sugar Ray Robinson. They all used Bentley boxing gloves. Then on the headgears, I got the old headgears that I got, well, different ones. Well, I still got some more gloves there. It was signed. And I got the old type headgears, and I got like the Sayers. Them are pretty hard to find. And over in the boxing jackets, you can see the shirts and jackets from a long time ago when my boys were boxing Golden Glove champions, and I was a state middleweight champion one time. And over here, I got lots of York weights. I got a couple thousand pounds of York barbells. I think I got 5 Olympic sets. And I got the old speed bags, the really old ones that were, you know, the speed bags and the punching bags. The punching bags would be bigger than the speed bag. And I got, this place has been, I used to train fighters up here. I used to train them. And there was no boxing gloves up here. It was just padded walls to fight. I got the old Sayers. You hardly ever see Sayers. They're really hard to find. The old ones. I got the old trunks. That's just the short ones. They're not the kind that go down to your knees. There's a Spartan boxing headgear. That was mine back in 1970, 69 and 70. And I got all kind of boxing gloves. I got 8 ounce, I got 10 ounce, I got 12 ounce, I got 14 ounce, I got 16 ounce, I got 18 ounce, all different weights. Like when they fight, they use 10 ounce gloves. And when you're training, you're using 16 and 18 ounce gloves so you don't hurt each other. And the smaller guys will use 8 ounce, where the bigger guys like Ollie and Frazier and guys, they'll use 10 ounce boxing gloves because their hands are too big to get into the glove. When Jess Willard fought Jack Dempsey, July 4th, 1919 in Toledo, they had to make, Sol Levinson had to make a special boxing glove for Jess Willard because his hand was so big. So he had to have a pair of special made boxing gloves. And Sonny Liston was the same way. He had a huge hand that had to be, boxing gloves had to be made special for him. And I used to train guys up here for the Tough Man contests, for the Golden Gloves, all different things. Done that for a long, long, long time. But I come up here almost every day and lift weights and work out and stuff. But boxing gloves are hard to find. They're, you know, I hardly ever find them. They're just, you got to really search hard to find any ones that are, you know, because they got a lot of boxing gloves that are made out of plastic, and they're Everlast would be a common one. You know, you see the Everlast gloves more than anything, but you hardly ever see the Bentley or Sol Levinson or Wilson and McGregor. All the people that made boxing gloves made baseball gloves too. Lots of them. So you'll see all different kinds of because the leather makers could go ahead and make boxing gloves just right along with making baseball gloves. So that's why you see the names of boxing gloves that are the same that would be baseball gloves. And it's taken me 30 years at least to collect all this stuff. And I'm always looking, and whenever I can find something, I'll usually buy it if it's old. I try to stay away from all the new stuff. I do have new stuff. I got Reyes and Sayers and the gloves that they use now, but I mainly try to find the old boxing gloves from the early 1900s, like the ones here that are filled with straw. They got to be at least from the 1800s. And some of the ones I got up here are really old. They're all cracking, and the laces you got to be real careful with because try not to break them. And I never counted how many pair of boxing gloves I got, but I don't believe anybody's got any more than I have. And I know for sure nobody's got as many different brands of boxing gloves that I have. I got practically every one that I know of up here. And some of these I only got like one pair, like the Ray Flores. Them are really hard to find, and I think I got 1 or 2 pair of them. And the Sol Levinson, that'd be probably the hardest one to find of all of them. I probably got 10 or 15 pair of Sol Levinson boxing gloves. And now, usually on boxing gloves, you see the ones that's got laces. That's the ones they usually fight with. But the slip-ons, the ones that just got elastic on the inside instead of laces, that'd be a training glove that they just use for in the gym. And the reason they don't have laces because the laces can hurt your face, where the slip-ons you can't cut people up and scratch them because there's no laces. Plus they're easy to get on and off. Something else, that them little miniature boxing gloves, them are really, really hard to find. And when you usually see one at a flea market or an antique mall or something, it's just one glove. It's hardly ever a set. I got, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I probably got 16 or 17 pairs of them. And what they were, a lot of them were, they call them salesman samples. That the salesman would come and show you the little miniature gloves and see if you liked them, and if he did, he'd bring you the real boxing gloves. But that was one of the reasons that they made them small like that. And I hardly ever find them. They're really, really ever hard to find. And usually when you find them, there's only one boxing glove, like maybe somebody would buy it for a keychain. But anyway, I should put them in a glass case, because them are extremely hard to find. Them kettlebells, they're probably 80 or 90 pounds a piece, and they're stamped on the top, Milo Barbell Company, 1901. And there's not much you can do with them because they're too heavy. They're just they're more like a doorstop. But I like them, and that's the only pair of them I've ever seen, other than just pictures of them. Something else up here, that's a York barbell weightlifting bench from way back. I think I bought that brand new 50 years ago. And I found it out in the barn. It was all rusty, and the cover was all cut up and dirty and stuff. So here a few days ago, I took it all apart, and I put a new board on it, and I put new red vinyl cover on it like it was, and I stripped all the paint off of it and painted it black like it was, and I got it looking almost like brand new. But they always advertised that bench in Strength and Health magazines way back when Bob Hoffman was the editor, and that's the bench that a lot of guys, that'd be the first bench they would buy. They'd send away, and they'd get that. And I know I got mine a long time ago, but you can only use the regular barbells for it. You don't have the wide the bench where you can use the Olympic sets. But that was still a good starter for when you're beginning. Okay, these things here were made by York Barbell Company way back. This must have been what they used before they got the leg extension. And the holes there is where you put the bar through these boots, these steel boots. You put the bar through there, then you put your weights on the bar, whatever you want to lift, and then you'd raise your leg. You could do leg curls, you could do leg lifts, you could do all that. And that's the straps that you strap it onto your C-lips. Them straps are like brand new on both pair. But they, I don't know if I ever used these or not, but it's really impractical compared to how you do now. But that was the early leg exercise, is these iron boots, when people would strap them on their shoes and put whatever weight they could use. This bag here isn't, it's not really a speed bag, and it's Sol Levinson. So this has got to be 100 years old. I noticed where somebody even put a patch in it. But what you do with these, you fill them with sand or corn, whatever. Make it fill, and then you hang it and you punch it. But it's a punching bag. It's not a speed bag, and it's only for punching. And you fill them up with whatever you want to. You put corn in it, you put sand in it. I don't know what all you think, but you got to make it heavy, and just hang it from whatever height you want, and you hit it. That's what you do with this. That picture hanging up on the wall, that was the 1948 or the 1949 Toledo Golden Glove champions, and I knew two of them guys, but I think them guys are all gone. I'm pretty sure, because the guy on the bottom right would be Buddy Carr. He was a Toledo police officer, and the last time I seen him and talked to him, he was 92 years old, and I know for sure he died. And I think he was the last one left alive in that picture. Okay, this right here is a pair of really old Sol Levinson gloves, and Sol Levinson was probably the first manufacturer of boxing gloves that put a bump between the thumb and the glove itself, and that was so you can't gouge the other guy's eyes out and stuff. But now they get the boxing glove, and the thumb is sewed to the boxing glove itself. But in the old days, they were like that. And when the guy was fighting, when he was fighting with these on, when he's fighting, he could purposely miss you and gouge your eye out. And then the ones that had the laces, he'd run them across your face, cut you all up. And they had all kind of tricks that they done when they could use the thumb. But later on, this here is the Sol Levinson glove, but you can see the bump, and then the thumb is actually sewed to the boxing glove. So there's totally different than how the old ones were. This way here, you can't be thumbing people in the eyes and stuff, but they're made like that, where the thumb is actually sewed to the glove itself, and then they put that bump there for even more protection. This boxing glove come from Philadelphia, and a guy named Joe Hand signed it. I guess he was a famous trainer that trained the early fighters like Willie the Worm Monroe, and even probably Joe Frazier. He was good friends with all these people, but he was a coach. All these different boxing gloves, I looked around this morning just to see what different types I had up here, and this is what I found. Peerless, Dan Laurie, J.C. Higgins, Tough Wear, Everlast, Ringside, Goldsmith, Sol Levinson, Ray Flores, Sayers, Flores, A.J. Reach and Company, Sears, Hutch, Cleto Ray, Lonsdale, Franklin, Post, Victor Wright, Winchester, Rawlings, Spalding, Wilson, and McGregor. Now on these, I talked about these earlier on these Sol Levinson bag gloves, that they'd be used for the speed bag and a punching bag and a heavy bag. But now they're getting away from using these altogether because of people getting their hands sore. So now they're hitting the heavy bag and the things like that with boxing gloves instead of using the bag gloves. These are sort of fading out, other than maybe using them for the speed bag. But definitely on a heavy bag, they've been using them with smaller boxing gloves instead of these, so the hands don't get sore. And something else about Sol Levinson, he started manufacturing boxing gloves in 1898, and he had 3 different locations. He was on, this is all in San Francisco. He was on Fillmore Street, then he was on Eddy Street, then he moved to 1028 Market Street. That's where most of my gloves came from. And that would have been like in the early to middle 20s, and something else I found that Fitzsimmons, when Bob Fitzsimmons fought Jim Corbett, way back, uh, they both used Sol Levinson boxing gloves. So that boxing glove's got quite a history to it. Well, to wrap everything up, this is my some of my boxing books collections. I got ring record books that go really back to the early '40s, I think, maybe earlier than that, right when they first started making them. In the old days, when a trainer had a fighter, he could look in the ring record book and he could get the guy's win-loss record. There's no such thing today, but that's got records of all the champions, and right up to they stopped him, and I think the books were stopped around 1985, and I think I got them up to that, and they were kind of hard to find. Every now and then I'll see one and buy it, so I got a pretty good collection of them.